Hari Om. Welcome, my dear seekers, brothers and sisters, to another beautiful morning with the Kali Code. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a slow, gentle breath. Today, imagine placing every worry, every fear, every unanswered question at the lotus feet of Divine Mother. Today's first card carries an energy that is completely different from fear's transformation we have been experiencing. Today, Ma appears not as a destroyer of darkness, but as a mother who gently holds her child after the storm. Today's card is card 17, Maa Blue Tara. If your heart has been tired, if your mind has been overthinking, if you have been wondering whether your prayers are being heard, then today's message is especially for you. Maa Blue Tara whispers, my child, you do not have to carry everything alone anymore. Today's cosmic energy is soft, yet incredibly powerful. The universe is asking you to replace struggle with surrender. Many people believe that every blessing must be forced into existence. They push harder, they think harder, worry harder, control harder, but nature teaches a different lesson. The sun never struggles to rise, a flower never forces itself to bloom. A river reaches the ocean not through violence, but through continuous flow. Ma Blue Tara invites you into that same flow. Faith is not passive. Faith is peaceful participation with divine intelligence. Blue Tara is the embodiment of compassionate wisdom. She is gentle, yet immersely powerful. She heals without making noise. She is gentle, yet immensely powerful. She heals without making noise. She protects without asking for recognition. She guides without creating fear. Her blue complexion reminds us of infinite consciousness. The same limitless presence symbolizes by Bhagavan Krishna and Bhagavan Shiva. Around her, we see the lotus, the serpent, the radiant sun, all reminding us that true manifestation begins within. Blue Tara teaches us that life changes not merely through effort, but through purified consciousness. When fear dissolves, clarity arises. When doubt dissolves, grace begins to flow. Perhaps recently you have been praying, but wondering if anyone is listening. You have worked sincerely, yet result seems delayed. Your heart longs for peace more than achievement. You feel emotionally exhausted from constantly trying to control outcomes. Or perhaps you have quietly lost the confidence in your own dreams. If this resonates, do not mistake delay for denial. Sometimes the Divine Mother is preparing your heart before she delivers your blessing. Let us remember one of the most beautiful stories in our spiritual tradition. During the great Samudra Manthan, the Devatas and Asuras churned the cosmic ocean in search of Amrita. But before nectar emerged, a deadly poison appeared, Halahala. His power threatened all creation. To protect the universe, Bhagavan Shiva compassionately drank the poison. The worlds were saved, but the poison burned intensely within him. At that moment, the Divine Mother manifested as Maa Tara, not as warrior, not as queen, but as mother. She held Shiva like a child in her lap and nourished him, cooling the poison with her boundless compassion. This profound image teaches us something extraordinary. Even Mahadeva accepted nourishment when the burden became too great. Mother's compassion is not reserved for weak. It is available to every sincere soul. Perhaps today you are carrying an invisible poison, stress, grief, disappointment, loneliness. Blue Tara says, come, my child. You no longer have to heal alone. A young entrepreneur came to me after 2 years of trying to grow his business. Every morning began with anxiety, every night ended with frustration. He measured his worth by numbers on a screen. One day I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you worked with joy instead of fear? He paused. He could not remember. Gradually, he changed his routine. Instead of beginning each day with panic, he began with gratitude. Instead of obsessing with results, he focused on serving people exceptionally well. Nothing dramatically happened overnight, but over the following months, his confidence returned, his creativity returned, his relationships improved, and eventually his business also began to grow. He later told me, success did not arrive when I worked harder. It arrived when I stopped working from fear. That is the grace of Blue Tara. Now let us gently look within, because Blue Tara also reveals the hidden pattern that quietly drain our energy. Perhaps you have become addicted to worrying. You tell yourself that if you stop thinking about problems, something terrible will happen. Perhaps you keep checking, rechecking, planning, and over planning because control feels safer than trust. Or maybe you have silently concluded, nothing good ever happened for me. These thoughts may seem ordinary, but over time, they become invisible walls around the heart. Mother does not criticize you for this. She simply places her hand upon your head and asks, my child, what if I have been working behind the scenes all along? What if your blessing is growing beneath the surface? Just like lotus grows unseen beneath the mud, faith is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. Faith is remembering that difficulties are not whole story. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyamaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Those who think of me with single-pointed devotion and remain connected to me, I personally take care of what they need and preserve what they already have. What a beautiful promise. Bhagavad Gita 9.22. Blue Tara's compassion and Krishna's assurance carry the same message, trust. The divine has not forgotten you. Vedanta teaches that fear arises when we believe we are separate from the whole. The ego says, everything depends on me. The self quietly knows, I am supported by same consciousness that sustains the entire universe. Blue Tara gently dissolves the illusion of separation. She invites us to move from anxiety to alignment, from control to cooperation, from fear to faith. Manifestation is not forcing reality to obey your wishes. It is aligning yourself with intelligence that already governs reality. When the mind becomes peaceful, it reflects truth like still lake reflects on moon. Before we move to the second card, spend few moments with these questions. Where in my life am I trying to control instead of trust? Which fear have I mistaken for responsibility? What emotional burden am I ready to place at the feet of Divine Mother? How can I serve today with peace instead of pressure? If I truly believe that Divine was guiding me, what would I stop worrying about? Sit with these questions. Sometimes the answer is not heard by the mind, but by the heart. Maa Blue Tara has lovingly soothed the heart. She has reminded us that faith is stronger than fear. But once the heart becomes peaceful, how do we transform that peace into purposeful living? The Divine Mother now takes us to the next stage of journey. In our second card, she will reveal how inner healing becomes meaningful action and how spiritual clarity begins expressing itself in the world. Let us continue. In our first card, Maa Blue Tara gently placed her hand upon our hearts. She reminded us that we are loved, protected, and never alone. But once the heart begins to heal, another question naturally arises. Why do I still feel stuck? Why do I keep repeating the same emotional patterns? Why do I know what is right? yet struggle to move forward. The Divine Mother now appears in different form, not to comfort us, but to free us. Today's second card is card 9, Maa Khadga Kali. In one hand, she holds not a flower, but a sacred sword. Not because she wishes to harm us, but because she wishes to cut away everything that keeps us away from our highest self. Today's energy is one of sacred release. The universe is quietly asking, what have you already outgrown, but continue to carry? Sometimes we ask Ma Kali for new opportunities, yet our hands remain so tightly occupied with the old that we cannot receive the new. Every ending creates space. Every release creates possibility. The mother is not taking something away from you, she is preparing your hands to receive something greater. The Sanskrit word khadaga means a sacred sword. But this is not ordinary weapon. This is the sword of truth. It cuts illusion. It serves unhealthy attachment. It removes emotional dependency. It destroys the chains that ego mistakes for security. Look carefully at the symbolism. The sword shines with a divine brilliance. The skulls remind us of old identities that have completed their purpose. The red thread symbolizes a sacred resolve. Everything about this card tells us one truth. The Divine Mother never cuts what nourishes your soul. She cuts only what imprisons it. Perhaps recently you have been feeling that something is ending. A relationship no longer feels aligned. A job no longer reflects your values. A habit keeps draining your energy. An old version of yourself no longer feels authentic. Yet you hesitate, not because the path ahead is wrong, but because the familiar feels safer than unknown. If this speaks to your heart, Ma Khadka Kali is arrived with compassion, not to punish you, but to liberate you. Sri Rama lets go of the kingdom. Let us remember a timeless lesson from the Ramayana. When the Prince Rama was told that he would not become king and instead must spend 14 years in exile, he did not cling to the throne. He did not argue with destiny. He did not allow bitterness to enter his heart. With sincerity, he accepted the unfolding of Dharma. Imagine the attachment he could ever had, the palace, the crown, the comforts of royal life. Yet by letting go of what seems rightfully his, he fulfilled a far greater purpose. Had Rama clung to the kingdom, the world may never have witnessed the ideal of Maryada Purushottam. Sometimes the divine asks us to release something good, to prepare us for something sacred. That is Khadaga Kali. A woman had worked in the same company for 15 years. She was respected, comfortable, financially secure. Yet every morning she felt exhausted before the day had even begun. Deep inside, she knew she had outgrown the role. But fear whispered, what if I never find anything better? For 2 years, she stayed, not because she was happy, but because uncertainty felt frightening. Eventually, the company restructured and her position was eliminated. At first, she believed life has collapsed. Months later, she joined an organization where her talents flourished. She found greater purpose, healthier relationships, and renewed enthusiasm. Looking back, she smiled and said, the door I was too afraid to close got closed for me. That is the silent grace of Khadga Kali. When we cannot release with wisdom, the mother sometimes releases it for us with compassion, even if it feels painful in the moment. Now let us gently look within, because attachment rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as loyalty, as responsibility, as sacrifice. Perhaps you tell yourself things will improve one day, even though your heart has known the truth for years. Perhaps you continue carrying guilt that no longer belongs to you. Perhaps you keep trying to rescue people who have no desire to change. Or perhaps the hardest attachment of all is the attachment to the person you used to be. Mother lovingly asks, my child, are you holding on because it is love or because it is fear? There is a profound difference. Love gives freedom, fear clings. Healthy commitment strengthens both souls. Unhealthy attachment slowly weakens both. Remember, the sword of Khadga Kali is never raised against you. It is raised against the chains that keep you from becoming free. Bhagavan Shri Krishna teaches, Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumascharati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha shasantimadhigacchati. One who lets go of possessiveness, selfish cravings, and ego attains lasting peace. Notice that Krishna does not say peace comes from possessing more. He says peace comes from clinging less. That is exactly the teaching of Khadga Kali. Vedanta reminds us that attachment is not love. Attachment arises when we believe our completeness depends upon something outside ourselves. The self, the Atman, is already whole. When we forget this truth, we begin collecting identities, relationships, achievements, and possessions in the hope that they will complete us. Khadga Kali does not ask us to reject life. She asks us to love without becoming bound, to serve without losing ourselves, to act wholeheartedly, while remembering that everything in world is entrusted to us, not owned by us. This is the freedom of Karma Yoga. Before we move to the third card, please spend few quiet moments with these questions. What have I already outgrown but continue to carry? Which fear is preventing me from embracing a new beginning? Am I holding on because I love or because of fear? What attachment is silently draining my energy? If Ma Khadga Kali gently cut one unnecessary cord from my life today, what would it be? Sit with these questions honestly. Sometimes liberation begins with one truthful answer. Ma Blue Tara healed our heart. Ma Khadga Kali freed our hands. But after healing and after letting go, what should guide our next step? How do we ensure that new life we are creating is rooted in wisdom rather than impulse? The Divine Mother now reveals the third card, one that will illuminate the path ahead with clarity and higher understanding. Let us continue. Look at the beautiful journey Divine Mother has taken us through today. First, Maa Blue Tara healed our fears. Maa Khadga Kali cut away the attachment that were quietly limiting our growth. Now, a beautiful question arises when the heart is healed and hands are no longer holding yesterday's burdens. What naturally enters? The answer is not merely money, it is grace. The Divine Mother now appears as the 10th Mahavidya, Ma Kamala Devi. She does not rush into the life carrying gold. She enters carrying something far more valuable. The ability to recognize that divine abundance has always been surrounding you. Today's final energy is one of expansion. The universe is gently asking, are you prepared to receive the blessings you have been praying for? Many people pray for prosperity, few prepare themselves to receive it. Sometimes the greatest obstacle to abundance is not destiny, it is unconscious belief that says, I don't deserve happiness. I don't deserve success. Life has always been difficult. Ma Kamala smiles lovingly. My child, prosperity is your natural state when your heart is aligned with truth. The word Kamala means lotus. The lotus grows in muddy water, yet it remains untouched by the mud. That is entire teaching of Kamalatmika. She does not ask us to run away from the world. She teaches us how to live in the world. without allowing the world to pollute our inner peace. Look at her symbolism. She sits peacefully upon the lotus. Elephants shower her with the sacred water. One hand offers fearlessness, another offers blessings. Something about her reminds us that prosperity is not anxiety, prosperity is harmony. She is the tantric from Mahalakshmi. But unlike the common understanding of wealth, Ma Kamala teaches that abundance includes a peaceful home, good health, meaningful work, loving relationships, a grateful heart, and mind free from constant scarcity. That is true prosperity. Perhaps recently, new opportunities have begun appearing. People are noticing your work. Financial worries are slowly reducing. Your home feels lighter, your mind feels calmer, or perhaps nothing external has changed yet. But for the first time in years, you genuinely believe that life can become beautiful again. If this resonates, Ma Kamala is already walking beside you. The churning of ocean and appearance of Mahalakshmi. Let us return once again to great Samudra Manthana. After the poison has emerged, after the immense effort, after perseverance, the cosmic ocean gradually begins revealing its treasures. Among those divine treasures appeared Mahalakshmi, radiant and seated upon a lotus. Notice the sequence. The nectar did not appear first. The poison emerged first. The churning came first. Only then did Lakshmi manifest. This is one of the deepest spiritual teachings in Sanatan Dharma. Prosperity is not reward of avoiding life's challenges. It is often fruit of having courage to move through them. The ocean had to be churned. Likewise, our hearts must sometimes be churned before divine abundance can fully blossom. That is the grace of Ma Kamala. There was a school teacher who spent many years believing she had failed in life. Her salary was modest. She compared herself with successful business owners and corporate executives. One day during school reunion, dozens of former students surrounded her. Some were doctors, some were engineers, some had become entrepreneurs. Each one thanked her for believing in them and when they doubted themselves. As she drove home that evening, she quietly wept, not from sadness, from gratitude. For the first time, she realized she had been wealthy all along. Her bank account had not revealed her abundance. Her impact had. Months later, unexpected opportunities arrived. She began training teachers across the country. Her income increased naturally, but the true blessings had arrived earlier when she recognized the wealth she already possessed. That is Kamala Devi. Gratitude opens door that anxiety never can. Now let us lovingly examine the hidden obstacles to abundance. Scarcity does not always appear as empty pockets. Sometimes it appears as a restless heart. Perhaps you constantly compare your life with others. You celebrate everyone's achievement except your own. Perhaps no matter how much you receive, it never feels enough. Or maybe you secretly believe that spirituality and prosperity cannot coexist. Mother gently smiles. My child, who taught you that receiving is selfish? Who convinced you that abundance belongs only to others? Scarcity begins in mind long before it appears in the world. And gratitude begins in the heart long before prosperity appears in the bank account. Kamala does not ask you to worship money. She asks you to stop worshipping lack. Bhagavan Shri Krishna teaches, Yuktahara viharasya yuktascheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. For one who is balanced in food, recreation, work, rest, and daily living, yoga destroys sorrow. Notice Krishna's teaching balance, not excess, not deprivation, balance. This is also heart of Kamala Devi. True prosperity is harmonious living. Advaita Vedanta teaches that fullness is our true nature. The Upanishad describes reality as Purna, complete, whole, lacking nothing. When we forget this truth, we begin chasing completeness through possession, status, and comparison. Ma Kamala reminds us that abundance does not begin outside us. It begins when we recognize the fullness already present within. From that inner fullness, generosity flows naturally. Prosperity then becomes the expression of gratitude, not substitute of happiness. This is why the lotus remains untouched by mud. Its beauty comes from its own nature, not from surroundings. Before we conclude today's three-card journey, reflect deeply. Where in my life do I already experience abundance that I often overlook? Which scarcity belief I am ready to release today? How can I become a better steward of blessing I already have? What does true prosperity mean beyond money? If Ma Kamala stood before me today, what gift of gratitude would I offer her? Pause. Write your answers. The heart that appreciates today's blessing becomes ready for tomorrow's miracles. Today's three cards have revealed a complete spiritual pathway. Blue Tara healed your heart and invited you to trust. Khadga Kali courageously cut away attachments that no longer serves your soul. Kamala Devi filled the space with divine abundance, peace, and gratitude. This is not merely a prediction. This is sacred process. In the next phase, we will bring these three teachings into everyday life. What do they mean for your career, your finances, your relationships, your family, your health? And how can you begin living this wisdom from today? Let us now receive the complete message of the Divine Mother. The Divine message for today. Beloved seekers, today three cards together reveal one of the deepest spiritual laws. Most people pray only for blessings. Very few prepare themselves to receive those blessings. Maa Blue Tara teaches us to trust. Maa Khadga Kali teaches us to let go. Maa Kamala Devi teaches us to receive. Imagine trying to pour fresh water into the vessel that is already filled with stale water. No matter how pure new water is, there is no space for it. Likewise, divine grace is always flowing, but fear, attachment, and scarcity often leave no room for it. Today's prediction is therefore not merely about prosperity, it is about becoming receptive to divine grace. In career, many professionals spend years working harder and harder, yet feeling increasingly disconnected from their purpose. Today's message is not simply to work more, it is to work more consciously. Blue Tara reminds you to stop making decisions from fear. Khadga Kali asks you to release outdated ambitions, unhealthy work environments, or limiting beliefs that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Kamala Devi then reminds you that meaningful work naturally attracts prosperity. Ask yourself, am I building only a career or am I building a legacy? When your work becomes service, promotions become byproduct rather than the goal. In money, money is energy. It flows most naturally when value, integrity, and gratitude exist. Fear blocks the flow. Attachment disturbs the flow. Scarcity weakens the flow. Kamala Devi teaches us that wealth is sacred when it serves Dharma. Prosperity is not measured only by what enters into your bank account. It is also measured by peace, generosity, health, time with loved ones, freedom to serve. Do not chase wealth from anxiety. Create value with devotion. The right responsibility will flow. In relationships, today's card bring healthy relationship. In relationships, today's card bring healing to relationships. Blue Tara asks you to become emotionally available. Khadga Kali asks you to release unhealthy dependency, resentment, and emotional baggage. Kamala Devi blesses relationship rooted in respect, gratitude, and mutual growth. Love is not control, love is not possession, love is creating a space where both souls can blossom. Healthy relationships do not imprison, they empower. For family, every family carries blessings. Every family also carries inherited patterns. Perhaps previous generations taught survival. Now you are being invited to teach emotional wisdom. Perhaps they taught sacrifice. Now you can add balance. Perhaps they taught discipline. Now you can add compassion. Become the generation that heals instead of merely inherits. That is also prosperity. In health, the body often reflects on condition of mind. Constant worry exhausts the nervous system. Holding on to old emotional wounds creates inner tension. Comparing ourselves with others drains vitality. Today, three card invite holistic healing, trust, release, receive. Spend time in nature, walk mindfully, sleep with gratitude, eat with awareness. Offer your body the same compassion that Maa Tara offers to Shiva. Remember, your body is a sacred temple through which your dharma is lived. For spiritual growth, many seekers think spirituality means escaping the world. Today's card teaches something different. Blue Tara says, trust the divine while living on daily life. Khadga Kali says, detach from what binds your consciousness. Kamala Devi says, receive abundance without becoming attached to it. This is the balance of Karma Yoga. Live fully, serve selflessly, remain inwardly free, that true spiritual maturity. Today's Vedantic lesson. The Isha Upanishad open with the profound declaration. Ishavasya sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagata. Ishavasya sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagata. All this, whatever exists in this moving world, is pervaded by the divine. When we truly understand this, fear begins to dissolve because nothing is outside divine care. Attachment begins to dissolve because nothing truly belongs to us. Scarcity begins to dissolve because source of abundance is infinite. Vedanta does not teach us to reject prosperity. It teaches us to enjoy life without becoming enslaved to it. Blue Tara heals the heart. Khadga Kali frees the heart. Kamala Devi feels the heart. This is the rhythm of spiritual evolution. Mantra of the day. Om Shri Kamalvasinyai Namaha. Om Shri Kamalvasinyai Namaha. Om Shri Kamalvasinyai Namaha. I bow to the Divine Mother Kamala, who resides upon the lotus and blesses a life with purity, abundance, and grace. Chant this mantra 11 times with devotion, or 108 times if you have the time and inclination. As you chant, visualize a radiant lotus unfolding in your heart. 3 practical actions for today. Action number 1, release one worry. Write down one worry that has occupied your mind. Offer it mentally to Maa Blue Tara. Instead of asking, why is this happening? Ask, what is the experience teaching me? Action number 2, let go of the burden. Choose one attachment that has become heavy. It may be habit, a grudge, an unrealistic expectation. Take one concrete step today towards releasing it. Even a small step creates movement. Action 3, practice gratitude before asking. Before praying for something new tonight, write down 5 blessings already present in your life. Gratitude prepares the heart for receive even more grace. Today's special message. If you have stayed with me until this point, perhaps today's message was meant especially for you. Sometimes the divine does not answer your prayers immediately because she is first preparing our hearts to hold the answer. Do not measure your life only by what has not yet arrived. Look also at what has quietly healed within you. You may already be becoming the person your future blessings require. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust Mother. Today's three cards invite three simple reflections. Blue Tara, what worry are you ready to surrender to Divine Mother? Khadga Kali, what attachment are you ready to release? Kamala Devi, which blessing in your life are you most grateful for today? Share your reflections in the comments. When one seeker shares sincerely, another seeker often discovers hope. That is how a Gurukul grows. One honest conversation at a time. Guru Dakshina reflection. Before you leave today, choose one teaching from today's three cards, not three, just one. Leave it consciously before tomorrow's prediction. Spiritual wisdom transforms life only when becomes daily practice. That is the true Guru Dakshina we can offer to the Divine Mother. If today's satsang brought you a little more peace, courage, clarity into your life, I warmly invite you to begin your personal journey with Maa Kali. Begin your journey with Maa Kali, the Kali Code Oracle experience. The link is in description. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the Kali Code. Share today's satsang with someone who may need it. Join our spiritually wealthy Gurukul family, where Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, and wisdom of Maa Kali become practical guidance for everyday life. Until we meet again, may Maa Blue Tara fill your heart with trust. May Maa Khadga Kali free you from every unnecessary burden. May Maa Kamala Devi bless your life with wisdom, abundance, and lasting contentment. Jai Maa Kali, Jai Maa Tara, Jai Maa Kamala Devi. Har Har Mahadev, Jai Hanuman Dada, Hari Om Tat Sat.